understanding that you didn't have it in the past, we don't got to waste time on you. You know, because not everybody's going to receive that grace, that gift of faith. It's going to be grafted in with Yahushua join theirs. Go ahead.
That we should walk in them. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision.
Right, and that's that process again. That's that same exact process that was going on.
That's why you got dudes saying, well, if you're not born in Philadelphia, you're not a, if you're not born in American soil, you're not an Israelite. How stupid is that? Why? Because he looks, of course, because Israel, the main core of Israel is here in America. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the spiritual main Jerusalem. It's a people for a place. So it's like, well, if you're not born here, Jacob's thinking, well, that means you're of the nations. Just like so what about Israelites that actually were born here, took their children, and they right, people in the military, right? And their kids are born in Germany and shit like that. So he's not, all of a sudden, he's not an Israelite because he was born in Germany. And his mother might have been an Edomite German. Now he's not an Israelite. But see, that mindset, it tells you, and that was the same mindset, and it still ultimately had to go to a spiritual way to prove who was an Israelite and who wasn't. So we don't need records. We don't need DNA to prove that we Israelites. We don't need that.
Keep going.
Come, this is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. That at that time ye were without Hamashiach Yahushua, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel.
Right, being strangers, you know. That's why, and that's what a lot of our people still do. Like you said, Jake saying you got to be born here in order to be an Israelite, or you're melanin, you got to be a certain complexion to be an Israelite, and then if you're darker, you're a stronger Israelite. Type of shit. That don't make no damn sense.
Crazy.
You know. Go ahead.
And strangers from the covenants of promise.
Right, strangers of the covenants and the promise. Like they would try to shun them from the services. You see that in Acts. You know.
Yeah, that's what it's saying in Ezra, right? It said that because of the confusion, read that again. The verse before, what's the last one?
63.
63?
Yeah, Tershitha.
Yeah.
62?
No, read the verse above that.
Come, this is the book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 62.
Oh, no. 63.
And the Tershitha said unto them, that they should not eat of the most holy thing.
They should not eat of the most holy thing.
Till there stood up a priest with Urim and with Thummim.
Right, so that was the only way. That was the only way. So some guys were put out, they were made alienated, right? They were made alienated, but the Lord still came up with a way to prove that they were Israelites by using the Urim and the Thummim, which now the Urim and the Thummim is what? It's the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. It's the Holy Spirit moving on the stones, the lively stones, which is us.
Yeah. So
we no longer, Job 13:1.
That's why you got brothers, you got a brother, you got the Apostle the Hard did the video, you got a brother in Germany.
Yeah.
You know, you notice none of these other Israelites talk about the GMS camps that are outside the country. You never get on these camps. They never talk about them.
I'm like, these dudes, these dudes actually believe that the Lord is allowing heathens to partake in the holy, to partake in the holy of the holies, man. They actually believe. They're like, GMS is
what heathen is gonna consistently
and understand this. That means you believe that the fact that they're in there 3, 4, 5 years, and you believe that this man is a heathen, that means you saying that the Lord has allowed heathens to partake into his holy feast. You really believe that? Come on, man. You cannot believe that. You cannot, man. You got Israelites that we know without a doubt they're Israelites, and they can't even partake into the holy feast, which is the proper understanding of these scriptures. But you think that a heathen is going to be able to do that? Come on, man. That's ridiculous, man. Go ahead. Come.
This is Job chapter 13, verse 1.
Right.
Lo, many have seen all this. Mine ear hath heard and understood it.
Right.
What ye know, the same do I know also.
There you go. What ye know, the same do I know also. That's the mindset of a brother that is over there in Germany, right? And he may look like the nations or whatever, but he's breaking down the word the same way you break. He understands everything that you understand. You think that a heathen can do that? That means you call the Lord a liar, because the Lord said the strangers, the heathens, right, would not partake into this feast, man. Go ahead.
It's Job chapter 13, verse 2.
Right.
What ye know, the same do I know also.
What ye know, the same do I know also. Go ahead.
I am not inferior unto you.
I'm not inferior unto you. So I may look like the nation, so what? The spirit within me is a spirit, is an Israelite spirit. I'm not inferior to you because you got the base complexion of an Israelite, which is different shades of brown. You don't look down upon him because of the shade of his skin. You don't do that. That means you're judging according to your appearance and not the spirit. Right?
Verse 3. Surely I would speak to the Almighty.
Surely I would speak to the Almighty. Meaning, you can reject that man, but he's telling you, I'm going to speak to the Almighty. You think I'm a heathen? I'm going to speak to the Almighty. Go ahead.
And I desire to reason with the Most High Yahweh.
And guess what? And I want to reason. The heathens don't have that mentality, man. An Israelite is going to have that mentality when he's going to speak to the Lord, meaning by prayer. And prayer takes what? Faith. He's going to speak to the Almighty Yahweh with the proper understanding of the scriptures. And guess what? He's not going to ask you for your validation that he's an Israelite. And that's the mentality that brothers have. And that's what we know in Great Millstone. That's why we don't need, the hope. A million people could come up right now and say, hey, this brother, because he looks like an Edomite, he's not an Israelite. We don't give a damn. That whole group of Israelites, they're going to be put to death here in America, man, for lacking that understanding. All right? Yeah, that's it on that. So what you got? Oh, yeah, well, let's go back to that. You got a question? Go ahead, brother.
On a different note, though. The scripture, be not ignorant of Satan's devices. Does that have a spiritual meaning as well? Or is that just strictly physical? 'Cause I can't.
Oh, yeah. No, let's get that. Let's get that. Ephesians 6 and 12, and look up the word. Yeah, look up the word devices, and also also let me. What's that precept? 2 Corinthians. Huh? Oh, I get Ephesians 6 and 11, and look up device. And hey, Shamwala, look up. Get your phone. Go to Ephesians 6 and 11, and look up the word wiles. Wiles of the devil. Ephesians 6 and 11.
I think that's scheme.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's all good. Bring the precept.
The one.
Precept. 1 Corinthians. You got it? Call the scripture.
2 Corinthians 2 and 11?
Yeah, 2 and 11. I think it's 2 and 11. Yeah, go ahead.
This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11.
Right.
I'll read it first. It says, lest Satan should get advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices.
That's right. Now look up advantage as well.
So the Greek word, the word advantage in the Greek means to have more or a greater part or share.
Right.
To be superior, excel, surpass, have an advantage over.
Right, meaning so that Satan won't have a one-up on you. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot ignore the works of Satan. You know, you can't let him have that edge on you, man. Once he gets that edge on you, he's gonna whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's gonna go to work. And Satan doesn't believe in knockouts. Satan believes in body shots. Pop, pop, pop. He breaks you down slowly.
Well, like didn't he say your enemy is like a raging lion, right?
Right.
You know anything about felines? When they kill their prey, they play around with it before they even,
and then they go for the jugular.
Yeah, they might even leave it somewhere for a while, come back.
That's why a lot of times these animals, which is crazy, man, you see these documentaries and they start eating the butt and the animal ain't even dead, he's screaming. And you see the ass is bloody, that meat, that red meat, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's Esau. Pursuing blood.
Right, brother.
So the word device in 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, it means a mental perception, a thought, an evil purpose.
That's right, a mental perception of thought, an evil, meaning Satan's evil purpose, right?
And it says that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purposes.
That's right. So Satan, right? Because who's Satan's physical counterpart is Esau. So what is Satan's plan under Esau? While he's using Esau, it's the image of the beast and then the mark of the beast. Okay, the image, which is the system, meaning you have to be aware. Unless he takes advantage of you, unless he gets the one up on you with a system, you have to be aware of what he's trying to accomplish. Once you know about Satan's end goal, you're already ahead of the game. Now it's all about just sticking through, you know what I'm saying, the Most High's game plan, so to speak. Which is the Most High's game plan is the Most High's image, which that's Yahweh Shah. Okay? Now, yeah, that was it now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because it says the one that stuck out to me was the purposes. Because Esau, Edom, him polluting everything.
Oh shit.
Him polluting everything, it can have an evil purpose to it. The scripture says, look, we're not ignorant of that. The scripture says in Sirach, under the hand of the wicked, even the essential things of life is turned into wicked. We're not ignorant of it.
That's right. That's right. Now let's go to Ephesians 6 and 11. Read it and then look the word up.
This is Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 11. It says, put on the whole armor of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua,
right,
that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Right. So you put on the whole armor, which is faith, faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, that you may withstand the wiles, going back to the purpose, the device of the devil. The devil, Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, with the physical counterpart, the Edomite. Now look at the word wiles. Now,
yeah, it's methodia.
Methodia.
Yep.
Does that sound familiar? Yeah. Method. The methods of the devil. Right?
It is cunning arts.
Cunning arts.
Deceit.
Right?
Craft.
Right?
Trickery.
Now, deceit, craft, trickery. Now, do me a favor, brother. Jump to because you said you want to know if it was spiritual, if it was just physical. I'm going to tell you it's spiritual ultimately. Now go to Edom Online and look up the word craft. Look up the word craft, because remember, craft came under the wiles of the devil, right? In Ephesians 6 and 11, which is similar to 2 Corinthians, right? The devices of the devil, the craft, the methods. So what is the devil's method of craft that you really got to know, so he won't take advantage of it, right?
This is the word craft on edamononline.com. It says it means power,
right?
Physical strength, might, but German, in German it says craft meaning strength or skill,
right?
Strength or virtue,
right? Now look up the word what is it? You got some more on that? All right, look up the word oh, you know what? Look up the word look up the word text.
Text?
Yes.
Text.
Look up, type in technology.
Okay.
And then tech is gonna come in. Keep the word craft in your mind, right? Right.
This is the word tech.
Right.
On edamononline.com it says a discourse to treatise.
Right, that's technology, right?
Yeah, technology.
Now look up the tap in just look up tech. Yeah, right. Well, you know what now, go back to technology. Go back to technology.
Right there, hot dog in the bird.
Let me see. Nah. Go back to technology. Because I'm looking for a certain word. Right.
This is technology on edamononline.com.
Right.
It says a discourse or a treatise of an art or the arts, meaning a systematic treatment of an art, a craft.
That's it. That's what I was looking for. Read that again.
Come.
Remember what came up under the wiles of the devil? Craft, right?
Yep.
The word craft came up.
Cunning arts, deceit,
cunning
craft.
arts. Now read that again.
This is technology again.
Right?
It says a systematic treatment of an art.
Right?
Craft.
A craft. The craft goes back to the word technology. So what is the craft for the technology of the devil?
What?
Ultimately, what is the craft and technology, the end game?
Everybody take that chip.
Yeah, that's his technology. You're talking about the weapons and all that, that's all good. But at the end of the day, all those weapons, all that military might, financial domination, spiritual dominations, is so that he can put that craft or that technology or craft into your right hand and your forehead. So ultimately, the word craft, that goes back to Wiles, which goes back to the device of Satan. Ultimately, upon many, the ultimate thing you got to worry about is that technology, man. Because that's what it is. Esau, and guess what? That's spiritual, because Esau's spiritual method is shown through his technology. Like, example, one of Esau's miracles is an aircraft, right? Where craft comes in. You know what an aircraft is? It's a plane. You see that? But his ultimate craft is that microchip.
You said a point where you said method, and all the definitions, method came up. Method is the steps that you take to get to the end goal, like you said.
That's right.
So it's steps. It's steps to get to the microchip. It's steps to get his crafts passed, or his crafts to have the pulse of the people. He has certain steps to get there. He just don't put it out there because a lot of people will reject it. But there's methods and steps to get to the end goal.
That's right.
And he's cunning. That's why the scriptures say he's cunning. And the Wiles, his craft, he do things. He do things. Oh, yeah. He the devil, man.
An example. When he says, if he comes up with a situation where, if you wanna catch a plane now, you have to have a chip.
Oh.
And let's say you happen, your business, your living, the way you live, the way you feed your family, you have to heavily travel through planes to go from city to city. Listen, you're gonna have to take that damn chip if you want to continue in that business and what you fed your family with. You see how crafty? Yeah. That's the method to get you to get that techno, because that was the actual word. Right. Techno. The word techno means craft. It means Wiles. It means device.
I got something else. This is device on edamononline.com. It comes from the Latin word adivus, which means an intent, a desire, a plan or design.
There you go.
And we know that Esau's plan or design is wicked. And that's the word for device. That's the definition.
And to be particular, to put the microchip on, which is the mark of the beast. Because that's what it means. Because a lot of people say, well, how many Israelites, not just us, how many Israelites know that Esau is wicked? But how many of them are going to take the microchip? So you can say the man is wicked, but how do you know he's wicked? How do you know? That's the method. What is the method to his madness? That's why we study. That's why you watch the video. That's why you do your research. So you won't get caught out there. You won't get caught off guard. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau going what? What it say in Revelation 13? My favorite word in that verse. The favorite word and my favorite word in that verse, Revelation 13. Was it 15? What?
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Right.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not.
And that's what it is. And do what?
And will cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast.
Because it's that method. Because he's going to set you up in a way so that you will have to rely heavily, or really rely ultimately, right? On what? On his technology, man. On that microchip, right? Read that again.
This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 15.
Right.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Right, the image of the beast goes back to its purpose. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to the system. The word system, hey, somebody hold me on Psalms 40 and 1. The word system, it goes back. The word system, it goes back to the word pit, okay, or trap. That's what the word system means. It's a pit, okay? Now get on Psalms 40 and 1.
Come, this is Psalms 40 and 1. I waited patiently for the Lord,
right?
And he inclined unto me and heard my cry.
Go ahead.
Verse 2, he brought me up also out of an horrible pit.
He did what?
He brought me also up out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay.
Miry clay.
Miry clay, right? And set my feet upon a rock and established my goings.
See that? So David is saying that he's speaking for us as well. Say the Lord, we prayed to the Lord, he inclined his ears and heard us, our cries, our prayers, and took us out of a horrible pit. The word pit goes back to system. The word system goes back to the image of Esau, right? The American dream that we was talking about earlier. That's his system, that's his pit, that's his trap. And the Lord said, nah, don't fall for that. But the thing is, like we started off saying, if you take away a man's dream, you gotta replace it with another dream. Or that man is gonna fall apart. Because a man needs a dream, he needs a goal, he needs hope. So if you replace the false hope that Esau gave us, you gotta put something else in there, and the Lord put the greatest hope, which is the hope in him. That's right. You see that? So that's what it is, man. So when you buy into the hope of the Lord, all of a sudden Esau's system is garbage. His deal is off. We didn't sign our names in that contract. But if you happen to sign your name, if you happen to have signed your name into the contract, meaning, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the contract of, I'm gonna buy into this system, this dream. I wanna make it here. If you happen to have those thoughts, but you get out of that. Now, of course, you know when you break a contract, there must be, ramifications. That's when your house shall comes in. Your house shall come. That's where he sacrificed his life. So that breach of contract, it's like, it's all good. That's why the scripture said, what? He took me out of a what? Miry clay. What is miry clay? It's death. It's death. Because with Esau's world comes death. The American dream comes with death. That's why the American dream and the finances of this wicked system is what? It's a credit-based system. It's a system that gets you cannot make deals with Esau unless what? Unless you take on debt. You show up and be like, hey, I ain't got no debt. I want this nice car. This man said, well, you like, he's like, listen, I can't deal with you. He's like, but why? I'm good. I don't owe. Because you owe no one money. What? What do you mean? You can't make a deal with me because I don't owe any man money. Man. So you have it's a credit-based system, but our laws tell you you're not supposed to be in debt. That's why the Lord's prayer, forgive me of my debts, as I forgive my debtors. Okay? So debt is not something we deal with. Why? Oh, Ecclesiastes, what's that? The debtor is a servant to the lender. Is it Proverbs? The debtor is a servant to the lender.
I think that's a proverb.
Because the thing is, if you brothers can pull that out. That's why even just that scripture tells you that the so-called white man, the Edomites, right, the devil that the Bible speaks of, the Caucasian man's system is what? It's trash. You got it?
Shut up.
Yeah, bring it out.
I got the, you said 7?
22:7.
That's Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor,
right,
and the borrower is servant to the lender.
There you go. The borrower is servant to the lender. So if I want to make a deal with you, you want me to be a borrower. Because you want me to be what? Your slave. Because that's what it's all about. All these contracts, when you go out and you sign a contract, get a car, a house, what are you? Now you are a slave to the banks, man. You're what you said? Wait, you're a debt slave to these banks. Yes. Now, who are the rulers of this world?
What makes it worse is the interest on top.
Right.
Ooh, not the fact that you just borrow something. The fact that you borrowed and then they're gonna charge you extra.
Interest. That's right. And who are the rulers of this world?
Scripture talks about
the Esau. But what's another name for them? The international bankers. You see that? The international bankers. That's another name for the top elites, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. So when you go out and sign, you become a slave to these bankers, man. You gotta work your ass off. And like the brother, like the Quan said, you get something that's 500, but the interest on it is 1,500. That is pure wickedness, man. Pure wickedness. Go ahead, brother.
This is Deuteronomy 15:1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release.
Yeah.
When you go to the word release, that word there
It's a Shah, Amah, what is that? A Sa? No, a Ta. A Shah, Amah, Ta, Naha. Shemata, okay, Shemata. And it says letting, drop of exactions, remitting, release from debt.
That's right.
Okay? And it says verse 2, Deuteronomy 15:2. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that lendeth aught unto his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
Right.
That lets you know this place that they say that's ran off the Bible.
Yeah.
America's ran off the Bible.
So
Well, if that's the case, then we will be under the Bible's laws.
That's right.
There should be a law release every 7 years.
No, finish your statement.
There should be a law release every 7 years to relieve your brother from the debt that's owed.
Right. But if you go into the law, right? But remember usury, right?
Yep.
Usury it says what? The scripture doesn't say not to assert usury. It says not to assert usury on your neighbor. So if the man is not your brother of the same nation, it's pretty much fuck him. That's why Esau has that mentality. Because he's looking at, we ain't the same people, you're my enemy.
Right. And that's why I said what I said, because America is so-called built off of what?
Right.
So-called.
Right.
They claim the Bible. Right.
Supposedly we are brothers. We are Christian brothers.
Right.
So why is it that the majority that the people in debt are Christians? Where's the release? Where's the release? Again, they're phony and fake, man. That's why we're not getting with the world. We're not getting with the world system. We're not getting with Satan, man, and his wiles and his method.
7-year home run.
Yeah.
Instead of 30.
Even in the cars, it goes up to 7.
Yeah.
Right? It goes to 7 years in the vehicles. But if it goes past 7 years, you got to pay still. They just put 7 because they want to act as if they're Bible believing and they're based on the nah, man.
Come, this is Ezekiel 28:3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
That's right. Wiser than Daniel, man, and that's what it is. Because see, the reason why they wiser is because they have gone into the highest peaks of wickedness. Meaning Esau has reached the highest level, right? And he's going to unleash that. He's reached the highest level in faith and dedication to their God, which is Satan. But Israel hasn't. That's the thing. Israel hasn't. Let me get Ezekiel 36:11. Israel is still yet to reach its full potential. We have never reached our full potential in righteousness. Never, ever. But Esau has. And he's going to show it in these upcoming days, weeks, and months, and years. He's going to show what it's like to have total, wickedness riding in the wave of darkness, the murder. I mean, he's been showing that. He's been showing that. This is the ultimate age of wickedness, man, that we live in. Go and get Ezekiel. But us, we have not reached our full potential as Israelites. Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 11.
Go ahead.
And I will multiply upon you man and beast.
Right now, the Lord is talking to us. This is what's going to happen when we in the kingdom. Go ahead.
And they shall increase and bring fruit.
Go ahead.
And I will settle you after your old estate.
See, now the Lord said, I will settle you after your old estate. So he's going back to King David, King Solomon. Because that's the only time we can trace greatness in Israel, to be honest. King David, no, it's true, because we know who we are. King David, King Solomon. So he said, I'm going to set you up after that estate of rulership. Good?
And will do better unto you than at your beginning.
There you go. Meaning, and I'm going to do better unto you than at your beginnings. That means that we haven't reached our full potential. As high as we was during the time of King David and Solomon, it still wasn't the highest. Because King David did what he did. Solomon did what he did. Even when the kingdom was at peace during Solomon. Solomon was doing wickedness towards the latter part of his kingdom. There was a bunch of wicked Negroes, spakes, and wetbacks and doing Solomon's rulership. It just wasn't war. The nations didn't wage war against Israel, but Israel was in there being wicked. That's why Solomon was judging. Who was he judging? The righteous He wasn't judging the righteous. He was judging the wicked. All right. So read that situation one more time, bro.
Jake was stealing babies. Like,
Yeah, man.
stealing somebody's child and saying that's mine while he was coming in power. You know?
Right.
Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 11. And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit.
And they shall increase and bring fruit, right?
And I will settle you after your old estates.
Right, so how is the Lord going to multiply upon us, man and beast, if we ain't going to have sex in the kingdom?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So he's just going to create new Israelite men out of the water. So we're going to sit there and be like, all right, brothers, today Yahweh's going to do another tour. We're going to witness the beginning of creation when Israelite men and women are coming out of the waters. No, man. When we came out of the waters, the first time when we were created and came out of the waters, that was once, and it happened back then, and it was indicative that the Lord was going to have us come out of the waters of what? The womb of a woman, because the earth is known as a woman. And then we came out of the water off the earth. But the seed came out of the man, which the seed, right? The seed, meaning Israel, came out of really what? Came out of the mind of a man called who? Yahweh. See that? Through his son Yahweh Shah. So ultimately it goes back to the seed. But us coming out of the earth and the water, the Lord said, okay, that's how I'm going to do it with the woman. We're going to come out of the woman, which her body is made out of what? Earth. And the placenta is what? It's water. So now we come out of a woman's placenta, a womb. But back then, that's how we came out. It's not going to go back to that. We're going to continue to have sex with women. They're going to continue to get pregnant, right? And they're going to continue to give birth. And that's how men are going to be multiplied upon us in the kingdom. Yeah, it's all good.
Why is this Cornelius is not an Israelite thing keep popping up? What is that all? I don't.
It's just, remember what we said earlier, because dudes, they want physical proof that he's an Israelite. And we're not, and they're not going to be given physical proof. The Lord is not going to give physical proof that Cornelius is an Israelite. Why? Let me get Isaiah 8:14. Read all the way down to 20. That's what you call a stumbling block. That's what you call a stumbling. That's why these scriptures. Oh, also Second Peter. It's the first, Second Peter. Is either First Peter 3:16 or 2 Peter 3:16. But first,
having a good conscience.
When it says it's either first or second. But hold on to that. What's the scripture that I asked for?
I got it here. It's Isaiah chapter 8, verse 14.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 14.
Go ahead.
And he shall be for a sanctuary.
Well, read the precept above.
This is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 13.
Right.
Sanctify the Most High Yahweh, the Lord of hosts himself.
Right.
And let him be your fear.
Right.
And let him be your dread.
Right.
And he shall be for a sanctuary.
Now, when you sanctify the Heavenly Father Yahweh, it's really through his son Yahweh Shah. So now it's really speaking about Yahweh Shah. Go ahead.
And he shall be for a sanctuary.
He shall be Yahweh Shah, meaning, and who is Yahweh Shah? He's the word, right? And he gives you the proper understanding of his word. He shall be a sanctuary. Go ahead.
But for a stone of stumbling.
So he's going to be a sanctuary. But who is he going to be a sanctuary for? The elect.